All right, we are live. Hello, 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 and welcome to Intercultural Spark. I am so excited today. I've got Ramona Jackson with me. So Ramona she's a self-proclaimed intoxicologist. She's a wanderlusting, tree-hugging poet who's also like a really accomplished person in the tech field. But we're not talking about that stuff today. We're talking about the work that she's done to bring the entire globe and the world into people's homes when nobody can travel because of, you know why. Our show today is called When Deep Breathing Isn't Enough. And I can't tell you how much fun it will be to make a cocktail to really get in the season for this year or for this time of year. So Intercultural Talk, this is about that spark inside of you that drives you to want to spark change in the world. So welcome. We'll try that again. So welcome. Hi, Ramona, how are you?
I'm doing great. It's the holiday season. I'm off work. It's the best of
Yeah. Well, and I hope actually probably spending time in your she shed. So Ramona, you're going to walk me through. I have everything set up, ready to go, as though I've gotten this kit. But tell me what the Bourbon Bohemian is, and kind of walk me through what we're about to do.
Okay, so the Bourbon Bohemian is my little passion project that was birthed out of the pandemic. I was home. My two preteen sons are here. My husband, we're in close quarters. And I was missing entertaining friends and, making drinks for people, connecting. So I started just connecting with myself over drinks and photographing them. And a couple of friends were like, man, Ramona, I really wish that I could do that. Do you think that you could show me how to make drinks like that? And I'm like, sure. And they're like, do this for groups. And I was like, do I do it for groups? Maybe. Okay, let's try it out. And it just kind of snowballed from there, no pun intended. And now I'm doing cocktail experiences virtually and in person for corporations, for dentist offices, for moms groups. I have a cocktail subscription program. I'm making kits all over the place and starting to do a little bit of beverage consulting. So I just bring the world to people, like you said, through cocktails.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I have to say, because you told me that you have a she shed, and that is, I think what you said is that was, like where the magic happens is in your she shed. So is that, can you just create a visual picture? I want a she shed. What is that like?
So it used to be my husband's like woodworking shop. It's in the backyard. We have like an acre right outside of Atlanta. So plenty of space to run around. But I went in, bought a sprayer from Amazon, spray painted the inside like this really cool gray. I've got this huge furry lime green rug.
Oh, wow.
A lime green Papazan chair. I've got two high back like queen chairs. One's like a tan, one's a purple, and just candles and plants and just a place where I can go and come up with quirky recipes for simple syrups and bitters. And yes, my happy place.
That sounds absolutely fantastic. So, all right, so let's do it. Let's absolutely do it. So basically, I found out of you, I placed an order, and I got two things. I got my kit, my little kit in the mail, and then you also emailed me my cocktail card.
Yes.
So now in my case, I think I told you my husband was Brazilian, so we have something that's a little bit spicy. But you said you do a questionnaire. So how do you match a cocktail with a person?
Yeah, so I have a pre-questionnaire where I ask kind of what's your favorite spirit. One of the options is the Holy Spirit for people who are not quite sure what their favorite spirit is. And then like if they have a signature drink that they like, how comfortable they are with ordering cocktails when they go out with friends. And just kind of like what their experience to date has been within like the spirits industry and mixology. Because a lot of people are afraid to like order a drink. They're like, what should I ask for? Will I ask for the right thing? So I just want to get people's comfort level and then kind of what they know. And then I always try to do both a savory and a sweet cocktail to get people out of their comfort zone a little bit. And then for the host, if they have any particular places that they travel to or flavors that they really enjoy, then I try to build that into the recipe.
So you'll often give 2 options then for people when there's groups?
Yep. Yeah. And we go through a cocktail 101 where I teach all things global spirits and liqueurs, artisanal ice, glassware, garnish. And then I actually walk them through making their own cocktail, and then I make a cocktail for them.
Wow. And has this all been virtual then that you've been doing it?
For the most part, lately it's been virtual. At the beginning of the shutdown, I had a few like outdoor in-person experiences, which were a lot of fun. I did one outside of a dentist's office as an employee appreciation, and they had music playing.
They must have loved it.
Dancing, and it was nice. But yeah, most of my experiences the last couple of months have been virtual.
Yeah. Okay. And actually, so people who are watching live, if anyone has questions as you're watching live, please feel free to put those in the comments because we can see those in real time. All right. So I keep telling you to start and then I ask you a question. So I'm going to stop doing that. I'm going to pretend like you've just come to my house and I'm going to follow your directions now.
Okay.
All right.
The cocktail of the month for December is the Diablo Enemy Cup. So it's a play on like pidgin English for Jamaican Americans. I have a lot of friends who are from Jamaica, love the culture, love the food. And one thing that I always try to do is take the flavors of regional or cultural cuisine and then like put them in a cup. Like anything that I can do to put all of those flavors in a cup in a way that blends well together. So for this, I have a jerk simple syrup.
Okay, I'm going to open and pull mine out as you talk about it. So I've got my box. I love it.
Yes. And then that what you just pulled out is a little garnish bag. And in there's pineapple, dried pineapple, plantain chips, curry simple syrup, and a ginger syrup.
Oh, that's the ginger syrup. And then you had mentioned, just so you know, you said you can add your own stuff. So I have ginger. I think you'll be impressed. I cut a little edge in it so I can actually put it on the side.
Your glass. Oh, you're a pro at this already, I can see.
All right. So we've got this one.
Yep, ginger. And
okay, that's the ginger. All right, and then very carefully packaged.
Yes, those are the jerk simple syrup, and then the other one is a pineapple coconut water.
Okay.
Yes.
So I've got that.
So that you got everything there. This is kind of like a jerk plate and a cup. I have a coupe glass here, so I'm really big on glassware from Goodwill and from my thrifting adventures.
Oh, fun.
I paid like 50 cents for this cup. And then I have a sphere ice cube inside of my coupe glass. So I use
it. Oh, that looks so cool.
Cubes and sphere ice, some artisanal ice. I'll put herbs in the ice or tea in the ice or juice in the ice. So it changes.
Oh, so you'll actually make the ice cubes out of different things. Okay. Yeah. What I love, Ramona, is how, what I find so fascinating is just how layered and deep everything is. And, you know, that was when I originally said, oh my gosh, you have to come to Intercultural Spark. It's the idea that this is not just a cocktail. Like this is really layer. It's just layer upon layer. And now even down to like the ice and then the culture where that come from is so fascinating.
Yeah. And another thing that I do that I really enjoy is for each of my cocktails, I have like a soundtrack or a song that matches the cocktail. So there's an artist by the name of Sir. He has a song called De Evos. And that is the song that I play when I'm like coming up with the cocktail, refining it, making it, photographing it. And it's almost like I'm trying to put the song plus all of the flavors in the cocktail.
Does the song inspire the cocktail or does the cocktail inspire the song?
It's a little bit of both. I've had some songs like inspire cocktails and some cocktails inspire songs. I think for the most part, the cocktails inspire the song, but I use the song when I'm refining the recipe because I usually try a cocktail a couple of times, do a couple of takes for the photography work before I get it just right.
Somebody's got to do it, Ramona.
It's a tough job, but I do it for you guys.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm taking one for the team. I love that.
This is a rum-based cocktail, so I'm using Ray and Nephew Overproof rum. And when they say overproof, they do definitely mean overproof. I think you said that you have a fair trade rum that you're going to be using for your
Right. They didn't have that one that you recommended. So this one is Flor de Caña, but it said that it was fair trade certified. So I thought, okay, that one's good.
Sweet.
All right. So you know what I didn't? Wait, anyone who knows me is going to be like, yeah, you did that on purpose. I forgot a shot glass to actually measure. So I'll let you tell me when to stop.
There's a little trick though.
Oh, what's that?
Shot glass. So this is a jigger. This is the bartender's measuring cup. 1.5 ounces on this big side, 0.75 ounces on this other side. This is how you measure. But a little trick when you're pouring, if you pour, this particular bottle has like a stopper in it, but if you don't have a stopper, if you hold it at, I would say, a little less than a 45-degree angle while you're pouring, 3 seconds. A 3-second pour is a shot.
Okay. So basically we pour the rum in. Oh, wait, you're in a mixer.
You can do yours in your glass. You don't need a mixer.
Okay.
You have like a spoon or a stir. I try to like let everyone know, hey, don't run out and buy bar tools. You can use a cup, a spoon.
I have a spoon. Okay.
So you're gonna take
so I put the ice in my glass, or maybe I should watch you first.
Sure. So I'm gonna do it in you want me to do mine in my cup too? Let's make this simple.
You want to do that? Okay.
Yeah. So you can put ice in your glass.
Okay. And I know that you said like fancy stuff, so I've got crushed ice, which I hope is okay.
That's fine. One of my favorite ices to use is the ice from Chick-fil-A or Sonic.
Oh, you're kidding! Like, there's just something. It's the right size.
It's amazing. It's totally amazing. It's the ice you usually see in like a mint julep, like the Brown Derby. The Kentucky Derby cocktail.
Okay. How much ice? Is that good?
Yep, that's good enough.
Okay. All right.
And then I'm not going to use my jigger either. We're both going to use a 3 second.
Okay. All right.
Go ahead and
I probably should have had a timer on too. Okay, ready?
Go.
1,
2, 3. You got a shot.
All right.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So we're going to go ahead and add some of this simple syrup. Now this has about 2 ounces of simple syrup. I would use about half for the cocktail. Okay.
And Brianna says that 3-second trick is good to know.
Yeah. So if you don't have, like, not everyone has a jigger at home or the shot glasses, like you mentioned, that are measuring cups as well.
I was going to say, you talked about, you mentioned like making, which makes so much sense to actually make the whole experience be special. This crystal is actually from my grandmother Ethel, and I have actually matching shot glasses that go with it. I guess for like a little, maybe like a after dinner something.
Yes, a little digestif.
All right, so you said do the simple syrup is first?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay,
so
half of it.
Bottle, you need I use like a little less than half.
Okay.
Of the simple syrup. And because I'm using overproof rum, my cocktail is going to be a little spirit forward, a little boozy, but that's how I like it. So if you want to use a little bit more syrup, please feel free to.
I'm actually blushing. I'm the one in Brazil, and anyone who knows what a caipirinha is, like the only ingredients are like sugar, lime, and cachaça, which is a cane, a pure cane liquor. I'm the one going like, can I get mine without sugar? So
yeah.
Not wanting all the sweet stuff.
You would like, I did 2 infused cachaças recently, one with matcha and one with Damiana tea, an aphrodisiac tea. So I'm making some kits with those infused cachaças for like local people in the Atlanta metro area. So
That's fantastic. You know, it's interesting when you're talking about then making the cachaça different, because I also, you had mentioned that you did like a mule sampler. I love the idea of cultural equivalence. You know,
yeah.
it's kind of like India has naan, you know, Mexico has tortillas, there's, you know, different pita bread. And
Yep.
apparently you did that with the mule cocktail by making things different. How did you do that? How do you get the different countries into it like that?
So I was inspired by a couple of different like global liqueurs. So your standard mule is usually like some base spirit. So if you're doing like a Kentucky mule, it's bourbon plus ginger beer and lime juice. Or if you're doing a Moscow mule, it's vodka plus ginger beer with lime juice. So I was like, what if instead of like your standard base spirits, we use global spirits and liqueurs? So for an Italian mule, for Branca, or I did a Peruvian / Brazilian like kind of marriage, and I used cachaça, and I did the flavors were based on like a Peruvian and a Brazilian dessert. So I had caramel, black bean paste.
Oh, wow.
And there was something else. I think those were the only 2 flavors I put in there. And it tasted kind of like a cream soda, but it was based on like 2, like a caramel based Brazilian dessert and then a black bean Peruvian dessert. And I just threw them in the cup, and it worked out perfectly.
That is so cool. All right, so we have our rum in. We have our jerk simple syrup. What goes next?
Now your coconut.
Okay.
Water. This is a pineapple coconut water, so about the same ratio for that.
And same thing, so a little bit less than half.
Mm-hmm. And if you need a little bit more, which I feel like you don't, because you're like me, you like a 3 or 4.
No, as soon as I heard about your she shed and all these intercultural things, I think I told you when we first talked, I'm like, can we just be best friends? And then what's amazing is you're also a mom to teenagers, which is in and of itself a full-time job. And then you also work in technology full-time. So yeah, amazing.
It's interesting. My kids, they when I'm in my cocktail lab making drinks, they're like, "Are you over your cauldron right now, Mom?" And I'm like, "Yes, I am."
Oh, that's really funny.
So I think they think it's interesting, like the work that I do, like making cocktails and doing the cocktail experiences. It's not what you expect for a mom.
That's like weird, because I think you've seen sometimes, and we'll have to see now that I've got the extras. Sometimes I do, because I also teach fitness. So I do my exercise happy hour fusion, where I combine a cocktail with exercise. So we'll see if that makes a video. But as I always like to say to my son, I'm like, I'm not like the other moms, am I? You know?
Absolutely not. And that's a good thing.
I love it.
So then the last 2 ingredients before we start a little bit in our garnish. So we have some curry bitters.
Ooh, okay.
Dropper. And these are made with.
So you said this is curry bitters?
Curry bitters.
Okay.
That I make here, made with grain alcohol from LaGrange, Georgia. So.
Oh, wow. So just a couple drops?
Just a couple drops. And it gives it a pretty like yellow hue.
Oh my God, it smells so good. Okay. Oh, and I forgot, what's this one again?
That's it's a ginger like syrup.
Okay.
Marmalade and.
All right, what are you putting in now?
The ginger syrup, just
we are putting in the ginger syrup.
That everywhere.
Okay, and do we do half as well?
Yeah, a little less than half. It's like concentrated ginger, so it's going to give it a little kick. There's already a kick in the jerk, but I like all the kicks. I actually want to put a little Scotch bonnet pepper in this cocktail, but I was like, the people aren't ready. So I changed my mind on the Scotch bonnet. But so you got all your ingredients now, and we said we're going to stir. So let me get a stir since I'm not shaking. And then
stir for a couple
of
And then Brianna wants to know how you find all the stuff. I wanted to know also like because you had mentioned once that you made a rice flavored something, and I'm just, how do you come up? What's the weirdest thing you've made as a flavor? And then how do you find all these ingredients?
So all of these ingredients are things I already have in my kitchen. I have in my kitchen. I have jerk seasoning in my kitchen. And I'm just like, what can I do to turn this into like a base cocktail ingredient, whether that's a simple syrup or a cocktail jam or bitters. I try not to do anything like too like out of the way unless I can find it at like the local Asian market, because you want it to be accessible for people who are making it at home.
Right.
But as far as the weirdest thing, so the rice water was really just rice from my pantry that I soaked in water.
Okay.
And put it in a cocktail called the Geechee Lychee, which had lychee syrup, and then I had lychee fruit that I stuffed with saffron and thyme. And then I think my base spirit for that drink was gin. So like a summery tropical drink. And it was an ode to like Geechee culture. My mom's family on her dad's side is all from South Carolina, and Geechee culture, and that rice is like a staple within.
And what is it? I'm sorry, Geechee culture?
Yeah, Geechee culture.
And what is that?
So that's there's a port around the Charleston area where most of the slaves in the United States came through. So there was a lot of influence there from slaves who had came in through the transatlantic slave trade from both Africa and some of the South American nations. So there's a pocket there of this like Geechee Gullah culture and tradition of people that were enslaved there, lived there post-slavery, and their cuisine and culture has like very distinct components. Like I said, rice is a big part of their cuisine. There's a lot of like Caribbean influences. There's like a pidgin language, of course, that they spoke. So I tried to do like research into the culture and the traditions, and then try to add as much as possible to the cocktail that is inspiring, or inspired by that culture. So that's where I got the rice water from.
That is, Ramona, I mean, that's phenomenal though, that the depth. See, and I thought I was just drinking all the time. I didn't know that this could be so educational. I mean, that's really phenomenal though. And so when you're talking to people, I guess when you go and it's got to be fascinating for the parties that you're bringing this new taste, new flavors that people don't traditionally or probably don't have every day, but then also this entire history that goes with it.
Yeah, probably the craziest one that I've done though is I used pot liquor, which is like the juices from kimchi. It's from collard greens, but I made a kimchi collard green that I had tasted at a Korean restaurant here in Duluth, Georgia. I took the pot liquor from those kimchi collard greens and made a cocktail with it called the Soul Food, SEOUL, like so I had that kimchi collard green pot liquor, which was like very like savory, almost buttery, the kick from the kimchi. I had bourbon in there, fresh ginger, Angostura bitters, and ginseng juice. I mixed all that together, had like a fresh ginseng root kind of garnishing the ice spear, and that was one of the cocktails that I did in my Soul Sip Sunday series for the fall. And using pot liquor in a cocktail is probably the wildest thing I've done though.
So when did you start the company?
October. Yeah.
Oh, this is past October.
Yeah, it's only been
so you've already done well, wait, should we finish? Should we put let's put our garnish on, have a cheers, then I want to know everything.
We've got some plantain chips.
So is there any way in particular to do it, or just like drop it, just put it in?
I usually use my ice cubes as like tables for my garnish.
Okay.
You had mentioned you had like cut a slit in your ginger, so you can actually put that on the rim of your glass. A lot of times,
it's so cute.
Yeah.
Okay, and so this is dried. Tell me what this is, pineapple.
Pineapple. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and put it in.
Yep.
Okay.
And the same thing with the plantain chips. I usually save a couple to munch on as well.
I was going to say, I love Okay, so and then this is candied ginger.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Ooh, that's also very good.
Yes.
Mm. Oh my God, it's so good.
So, and it's just
all right. Are we ready to drink?
More flavors? Yeah, ready to drink.
Mm.
So cheers.
Ooh, that ginger is potent. Cheers. Yep. Cheers. Mm. Mm. Oh, that's delicious. You know, it's interesting because with all the different, each flavor individually is so strong, but the drink is actually really smooth.
Yep.
Mm.
It's one thing I've learned.
Excuse me, the doctor part of it, being an intoxicologist.
Self-proclaimed doctor of intoxicology. Yeah, it's an art and a science. To meld the flavors, and they say like bitters are like the seasoning of the cocktail world, and that kind of helps to bind some of the flavors as well with the curry bitters. But yeah, it's like you would think that all of those things would fight each other, but it's all the same flavors that are in like a Jamaican dish anyways, and it doesn't fight in if you're having oxtails and rice and peas and plantain, or it works together there. So I'm like, it has to work together in the cocktail.
So actually, you must have to try this stuff a lot, though, to be able to make sure that it all blends together, I would think.
Oh, yeah. There was a time when I was doing 4 or 5 new cocktails a day earlier on in the business. And I was like, I can't do this. I'm going to have to like once a week. So I started inviting friends over to my back porch. I have like a wraparound back porch, and I called it the Porch Chronicles. And I would invite 2 at a time, social distancing, and have them try the cocktails so that I wouldn't have to drink them all.
That is great. And people would be like, you know, you're so selfless. I'm so selfless. I could help, right? So it sounds like you've already done a lot. So you said early on, when you were trying, you did some in person. But so if somebody wanted to, like, they could actually reach out to you and have a kit sent, let's say, to their 4 best girlfriends, and then have everybody on Zoom. You're on Zoom, and then you probably would not be interrupted as much as I do because I'm so fascinated by it all. But maybe, I mean, it is a chatty thing. By having the different ingredients and by all the history, you know, it kind of is a chatty learning as you're mixing the cocktail.
Yeah, it's definitely a conversation, and it's also an opportunity for people to get together and use liquid courage to kind of let go of their inhibitions and relax, because it's not always easy to relax virtually. Like I find even at work, when I'm trying to get like a customer to relax with me, or I'm meeting a new customer, there's like this wall between us, like with our laptops, our computers, like all these virtual meetings, and us not being able to connect in person. But something about a cocktail lets people relax just enough to open up and laugh, ask questions, and they're not afraid to like make mistakes because they're a little bit tipsy. So they're like, I don't know, how would I turn, a Coke and this into a cocktail? And so I'm explaining to them like cocktail composition and like the 3 components, and people don't feel like they're being judged. It's just a good time for them to learn and feel like, hey, after this experience, I can make a cocktail at home too. Easy.
Or to not be afraid to experiment with different ingredients, because it sounds like you'll try almost anything then to see if it would work. So I can imagine your family as you're eating. I bet you have a specific face that they recognize when you're eating something. They're like, "Oh, Mom, no."
Okay, I'm sorry, guys. This is my cocktail. Yeah.
Now, do you have a background in marketing though as well? Like when you talk about the soul cocktail, like you're using a lot of play on words. So you're also naming all your drinks. I mean, it's talk about that a little bit, about that process.
Yep. So my degree's in marketing. When I came out of college, I did a little bit of product marketing before I got into program and product management and IT. I'm also a writer. So as a poet, I'm always looking for like plays on words and alliteration and onomatopoeias and like whatever I can do to like make the cocktail an experience. Because it's one thing just to like mix juice and seltzer, tonic, and like a spirit and a glass. But it's another thing to invoke a memory. It's another thing to invoke a place or a song or a flavor or a dish. And I think the naming of the cocktails, the music that's associated with the cocktail, the flavors, and then the interaction is what creates the experience that people are chasing that they used to get in kind of like the small, more personal bars that they can't get right now because of COVID. So the name is important.
Well, and you had said, actually, I want to read this quote. I was reading an article someone had written about you, and this was actually about your tech career. And it was, they asked you, what's the most valuable lesson you've learned in your tech career? And you said, delivery is everything. A truth offered to a client or team member with ineffective delivery almost certainly will have the opposite intended effect, and a game-changing product or service executed poorly will inevitably become a big idea that never makes it. Yeah. And what I thought was so interesting about that is because you're talking about tech, but here this really is delivery is everything. And there's so much detail and thought into every single piece that you've put into the kit.
Yeah, I think it's no matter your discipline, no matter the industry that you're in, like it's always about people. People are the focal point. People are the thing that will make or break your ability to like deliver value. And if the people don't feel that it's valuable, then it's not, no matter how much you feel that it's valuable when you have a product or service. So even the feedback that I receive on cocktails, I will change a recipe if I find that a lot of people are like, this is too much flavor in a glass. Or this is too boozy, like it's too much base spirit, like maybe a little bit more citrus or a little bit more sweet or simple syrup into the recipe to make sure that it's kind of like a United Nations in a glass. Like I want everybody to be able to come together and like drink the drink and feel like it's for them. So there's a little bit in it for everyone, whether that's the base spirit or the simple syrup or the cocktail jam or the bitters or the garnish, so they can like nibble on a little snack while they drink their cocktail. Like there's something for everyone in one glass.
I was thinking about you, and now it's just really solidified even more, because when I started the show Intercultural Spark, it was the idea again that everyone's got something inside them that drives them to kind of use their business to change the world. But it's also, we're such a celebrity obsessed society where we're always looking at who's doing the big stuff and this and that. And what I like though is that there's a lot of people, and I think that you're like just this shining example of people who are just living really deep, meaningful lives, bringing joy. You're bringing joy to so many people. There's just so much substance to all that you're doing. And that's what I think of sometimes. I don't know if you think of what the spark is, but there's just so much substance. Bringing joy to so many people, and there's so much meaning.
Yeah, I was talking to my best friend last night, and we were talking about kind of like passion projects and the things that a lot of people are discovering right now, being at home. And she asked me, she was like, "What is the thing that you think is like my thing?" Because oftentimes the way to figure out what your thing is to ask the people closest to you that have been there and like are seeing like your strengths in action. And I was telling her that she's like a master coach, and not in the traditional sense of like, hey, I'm like going to mass produce this coaching program, come buy it at volume, at scale, and hopefully you know how to apply it. But she can literally like take anyone's situation, anyone's questions, burning questions, anyone's insecurities or the things they're like the walls that are in their way, and she can like just dismantle them and provide like customized coaching to get them from point A to point B. And she was like, you know what? That's the most exciting time for me, like when I'm doing that. Like you said, there's so many people, like, when someone's operating in their passion and operating in their destiny and the thing that they are here on this earth for, because there's that spark, there's that light in their eyes, there's like that pep in their step. Like they can talk about it for hours because that is who they are. And I feel like this is who I am, making cocktails, curating experiences, helping people to, find their comfort and to experiment and to meet new people. And I could do this for the rest of my life, every day.
So I'm sure that everyone wants to know how to help you so that ultimately this could just be your full-time, everything you do. So how do people, I know you had the brunch booze, how do people support your vision of bringing this amazing happiness to the world?
Yeah, well, I have a website, www.thebourbonbohemian.com. And on the website, you can find information about how to host your own cocktail experience for friends, family, or your place of work. You can order single or double cocktail kits, and I have rotating recipes every month that have things like sage simple syrup or Advia Barange simple syrup, which is a Persian rice spice, like different things to try to transport you somewhere else right now since we're all at home.
Is that what your membership is? Someone could just sign up to get the cocktail of the month?
Every month, yep. So the cocktail of the month for December is what we're drinking right now.
Okay.
I'm working on the cocktail of the month for January right now. It'll be ready by the end of this week. And then my subscribers, they hop on a Zoom with me at the end of every month, which we'll be doing this upcoming Sunday, and we make the cocktail of the month together.
That's a fun thing. I've read for people, I know I've been married for like 33 years, and they always say that the things that keeps couples together is experiencing new things together. And I just realized that would actually be a fun thing to do together because it's so different flavors, and then just the depth of conversation. You're probably talking about things that you haven't talked about before because of the international and global connections.
Yeah, absolutely. A handful of my subscribers are couples. And my first subscriber is actually one of my neighbors that lives here in my neighborhood. And she was like, my husband loves bourbon and I want to do cocktails and I feel like it'd be a good date night. So once a month, I deliver to them a cocktail kit with 2 bourbon. So this month they had Whistle Pig, Clear, and I made them a Earl Grey simple syrup with lemon juice, fresh berries, and herbs. They created their cocktail with their Whistle Pig bourbon, and they'll get their next bourbon kit next month.
And now usually, so when the kit comes, so the person buying the kit provides the liquor, but you prescribe everything. Oh, and we didn't mention this. I brought it, but of course I haven't even opened it to use. You can actually make these. You always have an alternative for non-alcoholic version as well. So, so that's good to know. And then the brunch booze, you sold out. I'm sorry, what?
I said the mocktails are great for like work events too. It's not, I've noticed the last work event that I did, not everyone drinks, and it's like, hey, we can make mocktails together, and it can be corporate approved.
And the brunch that you sold out already, was that a day? Was it a group or people signed up individually? What was that?
Yeah, so I'm going to be doing a monthly brunch and booze where I make the cocktail of the month with subscribers or those who have brought the cocktail of the month as a one-off kit. That is sold out. It's this Sunday at 2. But it will be available. I'll be opening up next month's brunch and booze next week once I reveal the January cocktail of the month. So you can definitely buy a single cocktail kit from the website for January, and you will get a link to join Brunch and Booze at the end of January.
Oh, that's fantastic. And the website, learn more at the Bourbon Bohemian. .com. Ramona, this was so much fun. And I recall telling you I wanted to be best friends, and that was before we even had this whole conversation. So really, I appreciate you sharing so much of yourself, and just, I'm inspired just the level of depth. Like, why do something halfway? Especially this year, people are like, give it up, don't do anything. It's like, why do something halfway? We can do it like 500 times in. Absolutely. And I really see that too. So actually, we've got a couple other questions. Sorry, I was so focused on you. So this is so funny. So this is my friend Edgar Curzio. We literally shared a cab like probably 10 or 15 years ago. So hi, Edgar, good to see you. He has a geek question. Given the broad range of spirits, fruits, and spices, what makes the ideal combination?
Ooh, yes. So cocktail composition, 3 components, your base spirit. I prefer the global base spirits like your aquavits, cachaças, piscos, so on and so forth.
Mhm.
Or modifier, those are mostly like your liqueurs or things that are made with a base spirit, but that are infused with fruits, spices. So like your Fernet Brancas, your Chinars, your rum agricoles, and so on and so forth. And then
Wait, say those again. Your different what?
modifiers or liqueurs.
Okay.
That's the second component of a cocktail, as opposed to like a drink, which is just like soda and whiskey or vodka tonic.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third piece is your accents. So that's like your juices, your carbonated elements, sodas, seltzers, tonics, fresh fruits, herbs. So those are the 3 components of a cocktail. So when you're looking to pair different flavors, I take into account 2 things. The first is the season. So I try to use seasonal fruits and vegetables in my cocktails, unless I'm trying to like transport you to a country where the particular fruits and vegetables are more like summer, which is this cocktail, but we're of course in winter right now. So a lot of the cocktails that I've tried recently have been like with pear, plum, sweet potato, last month's cocktail of the month. And the herbs that I try to pair are more like earthy herbs as well because of the fall winter season. So your sages, rosemaries, sometimes basil, depending upon the fruit that I use. Then the fruits and spices that I use also dictate the base spirit that I'm going to use. So I couldn't use a sage with gin because gin has all of that juniper and all of those. It's very herbaceous anyways. So I would try to steer clear of gins when I'm using like very earthy herbs. But I don't mind like muddling sage in like a cognac because something about like the boldness of like a cognac or a bourbon or whiskey with the earthy herb like works well for me. So if I'm more of like a gin or a vodka or cachaça or pisco, I'm looking to use like lighter fruits, lighter vegetables, lighter herbs that aren't going to like clash. So I'll use a lot of like spring and summer fruits with vodka. I don't do a lot of vodka, but with gins and other global spirits. Rums, always tropical fruits and lighter herbs. And I say always with a caveat, make whatever tastes good to you. But when you're thinking about pairing, always think about the seasons and then always think about like where the spirit is on like the boldness scale and then what's already in the spirit. Is it an herbaceous spirit? Is it more of like an earthy or smoky spirit? Is it an herby? Is a fruit that pairs well with like your stronger herbs, like your sages or rosemaries, where like once you put it in your cocktail, don't leave it there because it will overpower. So thinking about those 3 components of a cocktail and then kind of like the levers that you pull, that's the science part of like herbs and fruits and the depth of a base spirit is how I come up with cocktails.
And I think the short answer to that was sign up for the cocktail of the month because that was like, I'm like, wait, where's my dictionary? I love it. It's fantastic. But yes, absolutely. Actually, and I'll talk to you because we always do a special cocktail every Thanksgiving. So we'll definitely have to, but ours are not, I've made simple syrups at home because I know it's just the sugar and the water and then whatever flavor you want. So that's pretty cool. I made a passion fruit one. Oh, so good. Yeah, so good. So, but yeah, I think the short answer is to connect with you. I have this thing I tell my friends sometimes when I'm really drawn to someone, I could literally just sit here and stare at you and just keep going. But I feel like we need to end. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to end our live broadcast. If anyone, thank you so much, Edgar. Good to see you, Brianna. Yeah, Edgar's just saying thank you. Fantastic. There you go. He's going to sign up. What was the name of the song you mentioned at the beginning of the session?
So the artist's name is Sir, S-I-R, and the name of the song is D'Evils. So D''Evils. and he's an amazing artist. I looked at my Spotify like year in review, and like 75% of the songs were by Sir.
Oh, I will absolutely check it out. All right, don't go anywhere. I'm going to end our broadcast. If people have questions afterwards, I'll make sure that I always will embed this on Intercultural Talk, my business website, so that people will be able to watch the replay, but also I'll make sure all the links are there too, because I think anyone who watches this is going to be like, all right, I'm in. Because, oh, and I always feel like, I was supposed to drink the whole cocktail during my show, right?
Savor it. Don't rush it.
All right. Thank you so much, Ramona Jackson, the Bourbon Bohemian.